drink as we used to do. Everything is just like going basa haywire, and we are all watching. Meanwhile, we have a Ministry of Sanitation and Water Resources. We have that ministry. So what's going on? What exactly is happening?
What is happening? Especially to the point where you and I bear the brunt of for example, Ghana Water Company having to buy more equipment to deal with the canker that is Galamsey, which is continuously polluting our water bodies to the extent that the impurities and the unpleasantries now transfer to our crops. They threaten us being able to export some of our crops. We're told that every hour somebody dies due to a water and sanitation hygiene related issue. And so it'll be interesting on a day like this to really know what types of intense methods Officialdom is using to ensure the safety of the water that we consume. Because we say this and we say it passively, water is life. But are we really behaving like we know that water is life? It's important for us to sit up. Again, I started off with that statistic. 30% of Ghanaians are without potable water.
That's right.
The year is 2023.
It's not good. It's not good at all. Well, let's go on to Zoom now. Samuel Amwaku-Mensah is a WASH specialist with UNICEF, and Dr. Anthony Dia, President, Ghana Institution of Geoscientists, also President, Ghana Association of Hydrology. Gentlemen, welcome. Good morning. How are you doing? Good morning, gentlemen. How are you doing, sir? Well, we don't have them on Zoom at this point. Once we get them, I'm sure we can focus on them. But joining us on Zoom, two gentlemen. Samuel Amwaku-Mensah is a WASH specialist with UNICEF, and Dr. Anthony Dia, President, Ghana Institution of Geoscientists. Also, he doubles as President of the Ghana Association of Hydrology. Is 46 minutes after 8 on 3FM 92.7. Today is World Water Day. Let's know your thoughts and comments on our social media pages at 3FM 92.7. The hashtag is 3FM Sunrise. We will be happy that you share your thoughts and comment with us. Where do you source your water from? How do you drink it? And guys, we were discussing this not so long ago when we had the conversation about the earth tremors. You were asking William about the fault lines and how people just wake up without proper testing. They're digging boreholes and
sinking boreholes.
You know, so what's going to happen next is that we could be having our houses, and then underneath the houses, you could have just trenches that people are not aware of, and one day, boom, we're all gone. That's the danger. When you spoke about that, it took my mind onto a certain danger that we may not have paid attention to. It took my mind there.
Yeah, because private homes just call these borehole companies. They come, they use their machines and just start, and then they sink the boreholes and they are gone. There's no license or anything from any authority to say, look, we are coming to check to ensure that this point is okay, this point is okay. So you have a 16-unit bungalow or estate, and every single house has a borehole. And I'm just been wondering how safe that is for the ground. I don't know, but that's why I was seeking clarity. But in respect of tremors, he said that wasn't an issue. But in respect of the quality of
the water that
we drink, the structure of the soil where we live, when there's any major disaster, how does that affect us? We want somebody to speak
and
to
even the attendant health implications.
Yeah.
Because you could be drinking somebody's fecal matter, and that's even typhoid. It's waiting to happen to you.
Well, but you see, it's unfortunate because I grew up drinking tap water, where you come to a house or anybody's house, you have old bottles with water filled in the fridge.
That was back in the day when we used to fill. You say, go and fill it.
You see, and now we've stopped that. We are not using tap water. Then we came to the sachet water, the one that we put in the polythene.
Yeah, and then
we came. No, even before that, we came to the cup.
Yeah, a Mansai cup,
where
everybody was drinking from the same cup.
Then we came to the penny polythene. Now we are into the sachet and now bottled water.
Right.
So it means now if you don't have money, you can't even drink good water, and that's dangerous.
Yeah.
because water is life. So every time you want to drink water, you have to pick money from your pocket. When the taps are flowing, especially in the office, you can go and fetch water from the tap and drink.
Because you don't trust the water that's going to be given to you.
You know, so these are some of the concerns that. But elsewhere, you can drink tap water.
Yeah. Elsewhere, people just go to the kitchen, they have a glass, and they just open the tap. And we used to do that.
Yeah.
I mean, we used to drink tap water, and the taste was good.
Yeah.
These days,
and our children are going to school with water bottles just because we have to give them water. And just yesterday, I was reading that the bacteria in those water bottles are worse than those found in toilet seats. There's a report. I read it in the Daily Graphic, and
that doesn't surprise me.
It's something that we're following up because, quite frankly, we don't even ensure that these bottles are washed well. How many of us, if you have children, ensure that every day we, the parents, take the bottle
and wash it,
use hot water or sterilizer? We don't do it. We just rinse it.
And you know what?
And especially the late area, where there are some rings and
of death.
bacteria can hide there.
It's stuck there.
You know, and these children go and they play with the bottles all over the place, and they come back and they just the following day we don't sterilize, we don't wash it well, we pour water, and they are telling us that bacteria in those bottles are worse than those found around toilet seats. This is an official report.
And you see, the other dangerous thing is where we have maybe a bottled water. You know, about bottled water. You finish drinking, and then we keep pouring water into the same bottle over time. You see, the bottle is old. The children carry it to school. That's also a health hazard. A medical person has told me. But let's go on to Zoom now. Samuel Amwako-Mensah is a wash specialist with UNICEF. Also, Dr. Anthony Dia is the president of the Ghana Institution of Geoscientists, also president Ghana Association of Hydrology. Gentlemen, welcome. Good morning. How are you doing? Good morning, gentlemen. Doc, good morning to you, sir. It's quite difficult trying to raise the Zoom, but we'll still through it. We'll get through to it. As always, let's know what your thoughts and comments are. Today's World Water Day, and we're talking about whether or not we're able to achieve universal water coverage as a country. Universal water coverage as a country. It's important to me because without water, you are not existing. How long can you go without water? I mean, you can't.
Johnny, I've sat on this show and I've advised all of us, including the government, that our needs are basic: water, electricity, and housing. Don't let's push the button too hard.
Yeah.
Because we
fix these small ones, we'll be fine.
Yes. Because when you fix these ones and you add roads, the system will take care of itself. Yeah. Because look, if you build a hospital, there's no water. You are even we haven't solved the problem. There's no electricity in the hospital. The roads are bad. There's no water. I mean, what are we doing? Let's fix them, because all the industrialized countries, they fixed. In fact, they even went to the evil extent, let me put it that way, of colonizing people to go and fix their roads. Because when our forefathers went there, they were doing the rail lines, building their roads and stuff.
Plantations and all that.
This is 2023. We are still driving on dirt roads. We call them rough roads. Or but we shouldn't be thinking about train in the sky and like we say fancy projects. You don't even have.
We have not finished.
You haven't finished the road.
The ones on the
and
ground.
You're rail line, and you are going.
Charlie,
we should stop all these things.
Let's speak to Dr. Anthony Dia. He is president of the Ghana Institution of Geoscientists and also president of the Ghana Association of Hydrology. Doc, good morning. Thank you very much for your time. Hello, Doc. Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Can I say Happy World Water Day to you?
You can say that.
Why are you laughing, sir?
Yeah, it's for all of us. So basically, it's a good day for us, the opportunity to talk about water.
Your laughter sounds as if you don't believe that we're supposed to be even celebrating it in Ghana. Is that the case? Doc, let's begin in terms of universal coverage for water supply in this country. What do you know? What can you tell us?
Okay, all right. So basically, what I can say now is that as a country, we've made significant progress in providing basic water services nationally. However, the quality of clean water access has been as a problem for us. We have seen minor and moderate improvement. In Ghana, only about 36% of the population have access to safely managed water source. And then when you talk about sanitation, anywhere 18% have access to at least basic sanitation. We're still dealing with water problems. 76% of Ghanaian households drink contaminated water. And then the regional inequalities exist, which means that some regions are better than others. So the issue is that even though we made a lot of improvement in providing access to water for the population, the basic problem is that the water we're providing is not clean enough. So we still have problems, because if you are taking water that is not clean, you can be sure that there are issues that need to be tackled. So our water quality is still something that we are grappling with. We talk about all these rivers that have been polluted. We talk about all these boreholes people are drilling without testing the water.
Right.
So it comes to the fact that we need to improve on the quality of the water sources that we provide for the citizens. And that is the issue that we are grappling with. Approximately we are talking about 92%. If you look at the statistics, they tell that 92% have access to water in Ghana, but what water? Even the water tankers that supply water to people, they are not too sure of the quality of the water that they provide. So basically that is the problem we face as a country.
Did we make a mistake when we decided that we're going to trade off our Ghana Water and Sewerage Corporation? Because that was the two that were put together. Waste, you talk about water and waste. There was water here, there was waste and all those attendant things. Now it looks like the sewerage aspect of the conversation is in the hands of private people. Private people are the ones now drilling their own boreholes. And then the water provision, largely by the country, but also individuals are going around the system trying to get their own water supply in the name of boreholes. Did we make a mistake by trading off our Ghana Water and Sewage Corporation?
Come again, please. Sorry, I didn't hear the last part of it.
We used to have Ghana Water and Sewage Corporation. Did we make a mistake by trading it off?
I didn't get the question. Sorry. I'm in the place where there's too much noise around.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
I'm saying that you mentioned water and sanitation. And then I'm going back. Of course, you lived through the times when we had Ghana Water and Sewerage Corporation, which was managing both aspects of what you speak about. And then we traded it off to what we presently have: water company on one side, individuals digging their own boreholes, sanitation on another side. It's not properly coordinated. I'm asking if we made a mistake by that decision.
Oh, it is not a mistake. I wouldn't say that we made a mistake. It is not. The issues are that we are dealing with human beings, okay? And then when you are dealing with human beings, there are a lot of uncertainties, because they can make up their minds and change their minds anytime. So basically, what I'm saying is that even though we made Ghana Water Company now to provide us with water, and then other people, because the population keeps going up, and then people are putting up their own places, they are expanding, urbanization is going up, and then the infrastructure is not catching up. There are a lot of places that people start building, there's no water, even roads are not there. And then once they get that, then they start pushing government to provide water. But basically, if you look at maybe Ghana Water, their own plans and schedule, maybe they are programming in such a way that you want to reach this end at this point. But development is moving fast, and then it goes up, and the infrastructure is not catching up. So I think that basically most of our things are not planned. Infrastructure, we don't plan them. Our structures and the urbanization is just out of the way. So at the end, we have expanded, but we have left behind all that we need to live as human beings, like water, roads, and other things. And I think that is the issue. So with the increase in population, we expect that even as a country, we shouldn't have problems with water because we still have a lot of water. Even though the quality may not be in the state that we want, we still have a lot of water available. And if we are going to work together, and then people are going to adhere to rules and people are going to make sure that they do their job, we should have very little issues. But, as a country, we have laws that do not enforce. We don't enforce them. So people do all sorts of things and they pollute our water sources, and then they get away with it. Then there's very much little water to process. Ghana Water has a lot of stations out there, especially in the mining area, and they don't get enough water because the water is highly polluted. There's too much stress, and sometimes the machines are not even able to process the water because of the levels of turbidity. So in the end, either they shut down or they cut the production, or they have to ration the water. So that, I think, is the problem we face as a country. We need to ensure our laws are followed, and then all these balance problems that we have to find a serious way of tackling it. We need to be very, very strict. But I don't think we are doing that as a country at the moment.
Great. Let me try and introduce Samuel Amwako-Mensah, wash specialist with UNICEF. Check if his line is clean now. Samuel, good morning. Thank you very much for your time. Hello, Samuel. Can you hear me? Hello, sir. Can you hear me? Well.
Hello. Good morning.
Samuel, good morning. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Good morning.
Great.
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
I can hear you too. Samuel, are we at a risk of importing water into this country with all the conversations that are going on about availability of water and the coverage, the universal coverage? Are we at a risk?
Okay, so good morning to you and all our listeners on this occasion of World Water Day. To the question, perhaps in the immediate term, there isn't such a risk. But as you know, development is continuous, and we face some natural issues as we go forward. The previous speakers have spoken about population growth. We've seen urbanization in various areas, and we've seen changes in land use, rapid industrialization, etc. So the risks are clear if we do not do anything about the current state of affairs and we move in the trajectory that we seem to be, then we could be in a crisis. We could be talking about water scarcity, and then importing perhaps, I don't know, but perhaps becomes an option that we may have to resort to. But as we speak now, we abound in water resources, as we just heard. The issues around it are issues of water security. So how do we preserve the quality and quantity of the water that we have so that it remains available and usable for us, not least for potable use, that is for drinking, household purposes, etc. But we also have to understand that there are also other uses, industrial, commercial, for livelihoods, and for other economic-based activities. So we have to look at all those, and that is why it is it is imperative that at this point, while we see the threats, while we see the trends, there is also the looming issue of climate change as we speak. We have to recognize all these in the context of the fact that the population is still growing. We have the numbers. It suggests that when the last World Water Conference, which is happening today in New York, happened, Ghana's population was probably a third of what it is now. And even then, we recognize the threat of to our water resources. Fast forward 2023, we are over 30 million. And if we go on in the manner that we are, with all the issues that are going on, the Galamsey, etc., then we are definitely heading for a crisis situation. Thank you.
How soon should we be waking up? Because from the narrative you're giving me, if we do not do anything about it, very, very soon we may get to the point where we have to import water. But how soon should we be reversing this trend?
Yes, so I think this conversation in itself is testament to the fact that the time is now. It should have been yesterday. I mean, these are things that as soon as we are all into risk management these days, we all talk about risk management. And risk management is a model where as soon as you perceive that there is a potential for something to happen, you start addressing it. So to that extent, there's no better time than now to start looking at what the issues are and how we can address them. As we said, importing could be an alternative, but we don't want to get to that alternative when we have matters well in hand as we speak now. All that we've said now suggests that we still have matters pretty much in hand.
Right.
What we have to do is to put in place the necessary governance mechanisms, systems, structures, and most of these are already in place. They may require some tweaking and perhaps a bit more concerted effort towards making them work. I think perhaps that is where we have to see which partnerships, which lessons. We are seeing the impacts in some countries across the globe. Many of them, which are water stressed, are quite close home. So within the West African sub-region already, there are some 16 or so countries which are priority in terms of, I think 10 or so, which are priority in terms of the water issues. These matters will be on the table in the discussions that will be going on at the global level. But we can learn from it because we are very close. We are talking about Burkina Faso, we are talking about the Sahel region, etc. So if it's happening there, we should see that this is the time to put our acts together. Some things are in place, but obviously we're having this conversation because we still have major challenges.
Doc, let me bring you in and ask you if we have a deliberate policy regarding sinking of boreholes. Do we have anything like that?
Yeah, there's a policy on boreholes. WRC, which is the Water Resources Commission, they, as the caretaker public service commission, which deals with water, they have a policy on boreholes. So borehole drilling companies are supposed to obtain drilling licenses, and also the people that drill boreholes are supposed to also inform the commission, about the intention and also when they put in place a borehole, so that they can monitor the provision of the facility. But as I said earlier on, all the regulations and the things that we have in place, most of the time our problems are that we are not able to enforce them. So there are a lot of drilling companies that still do not have licenses, even though WRC makes all the effort to arrest them and also charge them. But of course, there are people who are still violating this principle. So the rules and regulations are there. If you go to the WRC site, we have regulations on borehole license and also for borehole use. Normally for domestic purposes, you may not have to pay anything, but just to inform them. You know, if it's for commercial purposes, then there might be a fee that you need to pay to the WRC. So they monitor because, you know, the amount of water that you take from the ground, you have to be known.
Right.
So that we can factor that in the database, you know, because at the moment, because there's not much work done on these things, you know, as a country, as I said, we have a lot of water resources, including groundwater resources. So the problem is that I think we haven't reached the point where the issue has become so critical that we are so keen on monitoring these things and making sure that we don't go beyond what we are supposed to go beyond. And the issue is that we don't wait for that to happen. So from the beginning, then you try to make sure that the rules are followed, enforcement are there, so that we are able to monitor and we are able to control. So at the end of the day, then we are not hurting ourselves. You know, I always hear people talk about importing water and all that. The question is, where are you going to import it from? You know, it's not like somebody is selling water somewhere that you are going to import water from. At the end of the day, what you may have to do is to go to the sea and desalinate. But as a country, we need not get there because as we speak, there's a lot of fresh water that flows into the sea daily. Huge amount of fresh water from the water that flows into the sea. We are not doing anything about it. You know, so for me, I think that we need to put in measures, serious measures to make sure that we treat our water, keep them safe from pollution, and we'll be fine. Because the water is renewable. Every year there's a lot of runoff, you know, from the Volta and from the other rivers that comes. So every year we have a lot of flows that are going out. We take some, and then we are not even, currently I think we're using about 20% of all the flows that we have. About 20%, the rest gets away. You know, so why do we need to go and import water from somewhere else when you have so much you can't even use them? The problem is that we don't take good care of the water, so they all get polluted, and sometimes they are so much dirty that those who are supposed to process them and treat them for water supplies are not able to do that because of the serious problems in terms of increasing the cost of production of water. Even in mining areas, the water companies have to increase their production cost due to high turbidity rate values in the water level. So I think that all we need to do is to sit up. You know, as a country, we need to sit up. Even though the population is going up, we still have water in excess of the population that we have. The raw water we have in as a country is still more than what we need. But unfortunately, most of this water is not clean enough for us to use.
I see. The question that comes to mind immediately is that imagine an estate where there is no supply from Ghana Water Company to that estate. So the estate managers have decided that every house will have a borehole, wall to wall. What are the dangers associated with it, especially when we have not considered the fault lines and all those issues in between? Are we sitting on a time bomb if you have such a situation in an estate?
Yeah, in a situation like that, there are rules in borehole drilling. There are rules. We are not supposed to be close together, so we are supposed to observe certain distances between them so that, we are not tapping from the same aquifer. The aquifer is the medium that produces the water. So in urban areas, there's also the risk of urban pollution. Okay, so because we have areas where people have septic tanks and all that, the boreholes are drilled properly to the depth that they are supposed to go. You don't have these issues happening. But, people always want to do things cheaply. They want to do them at very low cost. So in that case, you may not get it done properly. So you may have issues with contamination. And also when people do, there's certain activities that people do on the ground that can easily affect your groundwater as well. So I think that the issue that in places, the quality of the borehole also was found. Not everywhere that you drill a borehole that you can use immediately. We always advise people to test the wells, the water from the wells, to see that they are portable so they can use them. There are lots of places in Accra that you drill a borehole that you will find a lot of salt in it. So you need to treat the water before you use. The other places we talk about iron and manganese. There are some places we have fluoride and then other issues. Your best point is to test your well and see. But generally, if we are going to have a situation where we don't have Ghana water and we're all going to deal with boreholes, that will bring a huge challenge. Because I think that the issue will be that what are we going to do? Because the waters in Accra, most of the areas are salt. Are they people going to be able to provide enough money? If you have salt, you can only deal with that used in the reverse osmosis or the arrow. Arrow is expensive. And I don't think a lot of people can do that. So the borehole may not be the solution because it's going to be very expensive, but of course it's an initial investment where you will put that money down. Over time, you might treat that because then once you have your water treated, obviously you can also rely on that water for many years to come. But I'm very sure that a lot of people will not be able to provide that money initially to do that. So we still need Ghana water. Because it's still very cheap compared to others. And the water that is flowing on the ground, the surface water that they use, is also available. If you're able to keep them from the pollution that comes likely from Galaxy areas and all that. But as a country, we have a lot of work to do, and then we need everybody. Like you said, this year's World Water Day, the theme is accelerating change, and then we all need to push as much as we can to preserve water. And a lot of times that we don't need the water, but we still let the water flow. So the issue is that we need to be the change that we want to see. So if you are starting your field, don't keep the water running. If you want to take a shower, try to take short showers, because maybe there's water flowing in your area, so you can use and you are paying for it, no problem. So I can use as much as, but the more you take, the less is available for others. If you all can reserve and use just what we need, then there'll be more available for others.
Okay.
Because it's in the whole continuum.
Right. Let me bring in someone.
Go to the other place.
Let me bring in someone.
The aim.
Great. Samuel, so I bring you in at this point. I'm concerned about the children because we've been talking about possible infection. Doc has spoken about sewage, sipping into possibility of that sipping into your borehole that's been sunk, the distance and everything else. I'm worried about the children and how all of this conversation can put them at the center of the equation so that they are kept safe. What can you tell us?
Right. That's a very important.
Hello, Samuel.
92.7.
Hello, Samuel. Well, unfortunately, we don't have Samuel. Doc, your closing thoughts. I'll put the same question to you. The children, for me, are central to all of this because they may not have somebody looking over their shoulders or, looking out for them, but they will consume water anyway, no matter where it comes from. What should we be doing in favor of our children? Dr. Dia.
Oh, I thought you were asking Sammy.
Well, Sammy's line tripped.
Okay.
Yes, right.
So basically, they are very vulnerable group of people. So as grown-ups, we are supposed to make sure that we provide the right quality of water for the children. So if you are in a house, you make sure that at least the water that is in your house is safe. A lot of the water we keep in our houses are not safe, not because the water is not good enough, but our tanks. People put polytanks, store water, and for years they don't clean them because they don't look inside. So they don't know what's in there. But you can put water in any container for a while, and then later will come, you find out that there are a lot of things that grow up in this water. So we advise that people should clean their tanks regularly. If you do that, at least you keep the water safe and clean. Otherwise, you think that you have good water, whether it's from borehole or Ghana water, you store them and then you take but the tank itself might not be clean enough because you haven't cleaned it over a long period of time. So those are the things that I believe that we should be doing because the children, they don't go for the water. We provide the water for them. So as long as we provide the good water, clean water for them, they'll be safe. The children basically, if you are in a rural area, that's a different issue altogether. Because over there, people rely on rivers. But these days, the rivers are so contaminated, so polluted that nobody wants to take them directly. So in areas where we have these issues, we advise people to boil water, to dry and clean, use alum to at least remove the dirt from it. And then you boil it to try to kill some of the bacteria and other things before you use them. So when you come to urban areas where water is provided, we tap.
Right.
You don't see the inside the hair. So we store them because it's not flowing all the time.
I see.
So it's always good to store your water so that when you need it, you can have them. But when we store them, are we cleaning the storage containers? We make sure that we clean them regularly so that the water that is coming through, the water that is coming through is safe and clean enough for us and for our children to use.
Thank you. Samuel, you're back. You have the closing word on this one. Children and water. How do we make them central to the conversation?
Yes, thank you very much. Very important note to wrap up on. I think we know that if we want to have any sort of future that is worth having, the children are at the center of it. And we are, at the moment, as adults, leaders, policymakers, etc., we are the duty bearers for these children. The rights are theirs, but we must ensure that they enjoy those rights and develop to their full potential and take over the reins of matters in the country. in that respect, water security is critical. I mean, to make sure that the water that however limited the access is now, at least they continue to have that, and we continue to expand. The theme says accelerating change. It is recognition of the fact that we have to go somewhere quickly. So we have to pick up the pace in terms of where we're going, expanding access, improving both quality and quantity, and putting in place, as we've heard today, the measures that will ensure that we get there, because otherwise we face a crisis. One issue that didn't come up clearly in terms of water quality, we talked about sewage seeping into water services, but we have, as a country, a fairly big issue of open defecation. About 1 in 5 people, about 18%, that's what the census tells us, habitually defecate in the open. This is a threat to water as well. So while Galamsey is a big one, there are other ones, and all those come down to our planning. They come down to our regulation of the arrangements that are in place. Commitments, stronger commitments to.
Hello. Fortunately, we lost someone there as well. Apologies if you just joined us. This is Sunrise on 3FM 92.7, and we have been talking about water. It's important that we do. Samuel Amwako Mensah, wash specialist with UNICEF, has been my guest. Also, Dr. Anthony Tia, President, Ghana Institution of Geoscientists, also President, Ghana Association of Hydrology. They've been my guest. Stanley Mate, Chief Manager, Public Relations Officer of the Ghana Water Company, couldn't join us. It's 25 minutes after 9 here on 3FM 92.7. Ibrahim Abubakar has been doing some digging at a water treatment site. And the boats, the canoe that he used to the place, and the color of the water. The water is supposed to be colorless, odorless. But this one, you can see the color and you can feel the odor. Odoma. Hey! What shall I say?
FM Sunrise.
What shall I say?
Talking about water.
We'll talk about water. Can you imagine?
Eradication program, where every constituency will get $1 million every year for rural and deprived communities. Under this program, there should be no village or community. Once we implement this, the first 2 years, we will make sure you will not have a water problem or a toilet problem.
Stanley Mate will join us. That was the voice of the Vice President of the Republic, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. He said this at the Trade Fair Center in Accra, which construction has become something that is there. And he was launching the manifesto of the NPP at the time. I remember this was just around the time when Nia Ikwe Otu had a back and forth with Razak Opoku of the APC. You stole my manifesto. You didn't steal my manifesto. You let me remember that, right? Today, Razak and Nia Ikwe Otu, they are both members of the NPP.
3FM Sunrise.
Interesting times, eh? Stanley Mate is joining us now on Zoom. He is a Chief Manager, Public Relations, Ghana Water Company Limited. Stan, good morning. Thank you very much for your time. Hello, Stanley.
Good morning, and thank you for having me.
Great. Stan, is it a good time to say Happy World Water Day?
Yes, it's a very good time because we all know the objectives for the commemoration of World Water Day. So we should be happy that the day has come, and we need to take stock of what has gone on throughout in the past year, and then what we can do in the ensuing year. So it is a good time. Now, what is the objective of the World Water Day? It's for us to create awareness on our water resources and availability of our water resources, how we are managing them, whether we are managing them well or not, and then what we have to do next. We have to look at all those things. So it's a good time. It is not just for us to celebrate whether we are doing well or we are not, but let's take stock of whatever we've been through and let's see what the future holds for us.
Are you happy as manager of communication for the institution that is clothed with, if you like, the responsibility of processing water or treating water for our consumption? Are you happy?
Yes, I'm very happy because I'm serving humanity. And I'm very happy with the work that I do. And the fact that I wake up in the morning and I'm thinking about 30 million people and how everything will go well with them, especially when it comes to their health and what goes into their system to enable them live well and happily. I'm very happy about that. There are challenges, and there may be challenges. But
what are these challenges that you have identified? Share with me.
Especially with the way we are managing our water resources within the system. Okay, Ghana is seriously endowed with water resources more than several countries within the world or in the world. Okay, and our expectation is that we are going to manage our water resources very well, so that for ages and generations to come, we still will have enough water to treat for our people. Water is essential. Water is life, as people say. So if we can have water throughout or till the kingdom come, okay, then we should be happy. It means we're going to have life. But if now the system is shaky, such that we don't know whether in the near future we'll still have water for treatment, then our lives are not even safe. Okay, so it's very important that we commemorate this day so that we take stock of what had gone on in the past and then what the future holds for us. We try to see how best we can manage the system and so that we can have our lives for ourselves.
How is Galamsey interfering with your work?
Galamsey is about the most terrible menace when it comes to our management of our water resources. Okay, and for the past 15 years or so, we have been fighting this menace. Unfortunately, we haven't made much headway, and so we'll keep fighting and hope that one day in our lives we should be able to put an end to it, so we can have very clean water resources. We can have very clean rivers, so that we can have enough water for abstraction and treatment for our people. So as for Galamsey, and the least talk about it, the better. But we need to talk about it to ensure that the menace is kept so that we can have enough resources for treatment for our people.
You've been sounding the alarm that if we don't take care, we may get to a point where we'd have to import water. Dr. Diaz just asked a question before you joined, that where exactly are we going to be importing this water from? Do you think that this advice you've been sounding, or this alarm you've been sounding, has been taken seriously at all?
3FM Sunrise.
I don't think so, because if you look at the rate of pollution still ongoing within the system, it means that we are taking that for granted. And last year, and then even this year, we've seen snipers of that, especially in the western region, where the Pra River dried up entirely, and for a month or two, we couldn't even abstract even the mud to treat for the people of Sekondi Takoradi. So at least we've seen some comedies when it comes to that one, and we shouldn't take it for granted. But I want to believe that with the rate of pollution still ongoing in the system, we are taking it for granted.
The financial cost to you as a company, you've been talking about your palms and the rest being destroyed by silts and on and on and on. I'm sure that will also go into you making demands for how much you'll be able to sell the water to us, the consumers, and all of that. If you look at the cost-benefit analysis properly, do you get the indication that anything significant will change for the consumers to heave a sigh of relief that water is not as expensive as we say it is?
3FM Sunrise.
Your question is a bit difficult to answer, but I'll still go ahead and say something. You know, it is the same public, okay, that we are serving who are destroying the water body. Now, in destroying the water body, the consequence is that we will have to use a lot more chemicals, which will make the cost of production very high. Now, we do not make demand for higher tariffs, but we rather submit our reports to a regulator who will check on the content of our report and realize that we are producing at a loss, or we are producing, or we are gaining some profit in the treatment process. Now, they also assess and ascertain the social nature and our economy, and based on that, they add all that as parameters for the setting up of tariffs. So they do that, and then they come out with the tariffs. So it is not like the GWC that make demands for higher tariff, but we submit our proposals per the templates that they themselves and the regulators give us. And then based on that, they are able to tell that, look, this has gone high, this has gone low, this has remained the same. So we do the calculation, and then this is the tariff that comes out. Now, if constantly we are seeing the increase in tariffs, then it means that as a people, we are not doing things right. It means that we need to manage our water bodies very well. It means we need to manage ourselves very well. And one of the things that comes up is the management of our water resources. So if that alone can increase tariffs, okay, then it means if you are able to manage it effectively, then tariffs could come down. So why don't you all work together and ensure that we manage our water bodies very well, so that the cost of production or the cost of treatment of water will be very low? Then definitely it will impact positively on our tariffs, and then we can have low tariffs, and then we can live comfortably. Okay, but if you are thinking of our selfish interest, we are thinking of our stomachs and our pockets alone, and because of that, we'll do everything possible, not thinking about the rest or the majority of the population but ourselves, then definitely it will impact negatively upon us, and that is why we are seeing a rise in tariffs all the time. We have done a lot of education in this vein. We keep doing it, and if we are recalcitrant in the changing of our attitude, then we can only leave things to ourselves and to our own judgment.
Sunrise.
Water pollution, management of water resources, and the chemicals that are used to treat it before it gets to us. Just how much chemicals are we drinking into our system, and what are the health implications, if you know?
Yes, let me assure the general public that we have standards for drinking water, and we treat our water according to the standards. Okay, so we will not put excessive chemical into the system to affect the public health. Okay, so in the treatment of water, we look at a lot of things. We check on turbidity of the raw water, or we do analysis of the water from the abstraction stage to the consumer's end. Okay, and if, for instance, and in every stage or every part of the process for treatment water, we do hourly testing of the water. Now, when we get to a point where we realize that the water is untreatable, we shut it down. If we get to a point where we realize that we may have to use more chemicals than under normal circumstances we'd have used, we shut down. Okay, so we won't just use the chemical excessively just because we want to pump water into the system. No. So when everything is done, it means that the water meets the best of standards, the best of quality, and it is safe for consumption. It is only at that point that we'll pump into the system for people to consume. But if it has to be such that the chemicals are too much, or the chemicals will have to be too much, we will shut down the treatment plant. And you will bear with me that we have always had to shut down treatment plants, especially in areas where turbidity is high as a result of population, and the water has been rendered untreatable. We have to shut down the TB treatment plant several times. We've had to shut down the Dawasi treatment several times. We have to shut down Bonsa in Takwa several times, or Daso and all that. We have had to shut down at a certain point. Currently, as I speak, we are producing under capacity at Oda, the treatment plant that serves for Boase. We are treating under capacity because we can't we can't be wasting the chemicals. Okay, they are very expensive. We can't be wasting them. Stability is so high that when we are treating, we have to look at the feasibility of getting water at a very good cost. Okay, so that at least we can serve our people, so that it will also not harm their system. So we won't do anything untoward just because we want to pump water to your system. No.
What does the shutting?
World Health Organization standards and that of the Ghana Standards Authority, and we'll have to meet that standard. Even as a company, we have our own targets, which is even higher than the Ghana Standards Authority. So if we are able to hit our target, that is when we pump the water into the system, which means that the water is safe for consumption. Below that, we will shut it down and we wouldn't treat the water. Bear in mind, or let me also announce to you that the Ghana Water Company Limited has subscribed to the International Water Safety Plans, which assesses risk from the fraction point to the final consumer, which means that we need to assess all the risk factors within the processes from beginning to the end and ensure that we meet the best of standards for safety and quality before the water gets to our people for consumption. We also need to announce to you that the Ghana Water Company Limited is also working assiduously at being ISO compliant. That is the International Standards Organization compliant. That's the 9001 2015, and we are working seriously at that so that we could attain or we could be ISO compliant. This is all to tell the general public that we are doing everything possible to meet the best of standards in the world globally. Okay, and that is what the Ghana Water Company is doing.
What does this shutting down of the plants mean? What should it mean to the consumer? That you will not have water or what?
Exactly so, because if we shut it down, then there's no way we can get water to the people, which means that the people that live within the enclave being supplied by that treatment plant will be without water for a while. We have been doing a lot of education, and that is what we tell the people, that we all will have to get involved in fighting the menace of pollution of our river bodies. We all have to get involved in fighting the menace of polluting any source that the Ghana Water Company uses in supplying water to your community. So if you sit aloof for a few people within the community, or if you sit aloof for people to come down from elsewhere into your community to destroy your water body, such that you wouldn't have water to drink, then you have yourself to blame.
Tell me, the Weija Dam has been on my mind. It was constructed around the 70s. Has it lived the full lifespan for which it was intended? What's the state of the Weija Dam now? Can you share?
Yes, the Weija Dam is still strong, and we do maintenance of the dam on annual basis. So for now, we can vouch for its integrity. And you also will bear with me that we have been doing everything possible not to compromise on the integrity of the dam. And that is why at any point in time, when the water is exceeding the maximum operating level, we spill the excess water in the system, because we cannot and we will not compromise on the safety or on the integrity of the Weija Dam. So for now, I can assure you that the dam is safe, and we are doing everything possible to keep it safe. And on annual basis, we do the maintenance that there is.
People are encroaching around that area. Buildings are springing up with careless abandon at very top speed. Wouldn't that affect the integrity of the Weija River itself and the dam?
And that is why we are in touch with the Municipal Assembly, and we are cautioning them on the repercussions of what we are seeing in that area. We have also gotten the national security involved, and so the powers that be are aware of the situation in that area. I would also want to caution those who are putting up structures in that area that it is not safe, because your structures could be pulled down at any time when when we strike. Because for us as a company, we do not have the money to demolishing such structures, but it is the law enforcement agencies and the municipal assemblies that have that mandate. We have informed them that this is what is happening. Now, the lands around that area are lands that are supposed to use for future expansion. So if now we do not have the funds to expand the facility, doesn't mean that it will never happen. So it is very essential that we take note of that and do not put our structures in that area, because you may have to lose your property at any point in time when we decide that, look, there's enough funds for the expansion of the wager treatment plant. And not only the wager treatment plant, but all treatment plants and throughout the country. We are facing the same challenge in Barakese, in the Ashanti region, Owabi in Ashanti region, and then some other areas within the country. So it's a caution to all of us that we should desist from putting up structures or buying lands within our catchment area where our treatment plants are located.
Stanley, I can see the river, I can see the dam, I can see the treatment plant. I live close to the water, but I don't have water supply from Ghana Water. Why?
3FM Sunrise.
Okay, so our operations are such that you have to be connected to our main distribution line. So our transmission line leaves the treatment plant into the cities, and then we have distribution lines into our communities, and then service lines into our homes. Now, you could be living close to a transmission line, but we can't connect you as an individual or a certain small number of people into a transmission main on the transmission line, okay? Because the pressures in the transmission line is such that we can connect, let's say, a 2-inch pipeline to serve, let's say, five people, or 6 or 10 or even 15 people who are living close to the transmission line. No, it is not possible. Okay, so the system is such that you will have to go by the laws. You have to go by the rules and regulations of hydraulics and on the technicalities to which we do our job. So it is not sacrosanct that you can see the river or you can see our transmission line. So you have to be connected. You can see the river, but you can't use the river. You have to be connected to treated water. Where you are located, okay, you ask yourself, do you have distribution lines or service lines within that area where you can be connected? No. If it is no, then you can blame the Ghana Water Company Limited. And especially if it is no, then it means that you have put up a structure at an unauthorized location. And I put it to you. And I'm telling you that most areas, most properties that you see around the dam are unauthorized. They live in unauthorized locations. They may not even have building permits. Okay, so then you can't blame the Ghana Water Company.
Let's move away from the wager enclave. Go to a place like Pokwase, Fise Junction, Festus, all those areas. And for a very, very long time, I know that most of the houses there, if not all, do not have water supply. I'm talking the Fise area, for example. So people are either using water tankers to supply water to them on a daily basis or weekly basis. People have dug their own boreholes or sunk their own boreholes. And that's their reality that they live with. Can they ever hope to get Ghana Water companies give them water?
There's a lot of hope for people who live in that area, because we are connecting the Insamam treatment plant, which has been expanded to the system from Wager and Bong. So when that project is completed, they will have access to water. And you also bear with me that a lot of areas from the Insamam area getting through to Amasaman and closer to Pokwase currently have water. We are still doing the extension of pipelines, and definitely they will get water within a very short time to come.
Stanley, in closing, have you ever fetched water from Ghana Water Company, allowed it to sit for maybe 24 hours and checked what's underneath the water?
Yes, we do that every time. I store water in my home. I have a poly tank, so I'm able to tell.
Are you selling dirty water to the people?
So why would we send dirty water to the people? Like I've said, I also live within the communities. Within the community, I also drink water from Ghana Water Company. And for me, I drink water directly from the tap. So if the water is contaminated, why will I be drinking? No. And per our standard operating procedures, there is no way that we'll pump contaminated water into the system. We have standards for the treatment of water. Okay, so before the water leaves the treatment plant, it meets the best of standards. That's the World Health Organization standards, the Ghana Standards Authority standards, which is even higher than that of the WHO. And we as a company, Ghana Water Company Limited, we have our own target. We cannot call ours a standard because it is not regulated. But our target is higher than that of the Ghana Standards Authority standard. And we will only pump water into the system when the water meets our target. So the water that we pump from our treatment plant into the system meets the best of standard, and it is safe for.
So then, why do you have those brown stuff underneath the water when you allow the water to sit?
Yeah, so I'm explaining. Now, within our communities, there are a lot of our neighbors who have indulged in illegal connections. Some have called just unprofessional plumbers to lay pipelines for them. And then you realize that our pipelines are buried. So if you do that and you do not do that well, there's the possibility of some contaminants seeping through the pipeline into your home. Okay. Apart from that, there's also chemical reactions going on in the water from abstraction point to the treatment process into our homes. So if you put water down and there's some settlement, it is not dangerous, except if the water is colored. Water is supposed to be colorless. So if you realize that the water has some color, then fetch a sample to the Ghana Water Company Limited. We'll do the analysis, and then whatever the challenges, we'll have it rectified. But I want to assure the general public that the water that flows through our taps is very fresh, less than 24 hours, and it is safe and good for consumption. I, Stanley Marty, I drink water directly from the tap because I trust in the water that we produce. And everybody, I'm assuring the general public that all of us must have faith in the water that flows.
Stanley.
Let me also say this.
Stanley, you mean you drink water directly from the tap?
Yes, of course, Johnny. And let me also say that the Ghana Water Company Limited has subscribed to international water safety plans, okay, and which takes care of the safety of the water from abstraction to abstraction point to the treatment process, distribution lines into the final consumer, okay. And it is also a key performance index for one of our key performance indices from PULC to the Ghana Water Company Limited. And we comply with all the stages and all the safety plans, all the auditing that has to be done through the process, and that is done to ensure that water that gets to us is safe and suitable for consumption.
The ECG, Stanley, we don't have a lot of time. Slow down. I think you gave us this information already. Quickly, let me ask you this. The ECG is going round disconnecting those who owe them huge amounts of money. We know that you depend on electricity to pump the water to us. Do you owe the ECG? Are you free from blame?
Yes, between these two sister companies, okay, we owe each other. So, yeah, so sometimes we go to our clearing meetings and then we offset our indebtedness, and then whichever party has more to pay does that. Okay, so they owe us, we owe them, we'll clear ourselves, and then if you have to pay more, we do it. If they have to pay us, they also pay us. But we have a very good relationship, and we are working together for Mother Ghana.
Stanley.
Let me also use the opportunity to inform the general public that we are also on the fight and doing a revenue mobilization. We need to pay our indebtedness. We need to settle our indebtedness to ECG. We need to settle our indebtedness to other agents who supply us chemicals and all that. So we are also on our people, also those who are indebted to us, and collecting our revenue so that we'll be able to settle our debt. So pay your bills to avoid disconnections. Pay your bills to avoid prosecutions. Okay,
Stanley,
so we are also on the run now, and then you'll see us in your homes.
Thank you. Stanley Marty is the Chief Manager, Public Relations, Ghana Water Company Limited. He's joined us on World Water Day. Thank you very much, Stanley. Always a pleasure to be with you. Now, let's pick your calls on 0592 928 795 and 0208 227 290. 0592 928 795 and 0208 227 290. This is the Sunrise Morning Show on 3FM 92.7. William, Stanley drinks directly from the pipe. What is your perturbation?
3FM Sunrise.
What is your perturbation?
Make a laugh in capital letters. Well, I don't have evidence to doubt him, but I personally don't believe him.
Okay. Good morning. Hello.
Good morning. Good morning.
Yes, sir. How are you?
I'm fine, brother. I'm called Al Hassan
Al Hassan, calling us from where?
from Abu Sokai.
Talk to me.
What the officer is saying is really true. Not all that true. At times they will come for our water. And they will tell us that they will come and meet some particles. If they go, they will not come back to us with any information. After that, the money that we do pay in a month, let me say 300. Now it has been shifted to 900. Service line, the service line, the what we do pay is 7 cedis something.
Right.
But now it has been rising to 100 Ghana cedis. So we don't know what is going on.
Okay. I hear you. I'll ask them for you. All right. Thank you. 0208-227-290 and 0592-928-795. That's 0592-928-795 and 0208-227-290. Good morning. Hello, good morning.
Yes, hello.
Yes, sir. Good morning. How are you?
Good morning, Johnny.
Yes, sir. Talk to me.
The Vodafone line, when you call, it's very difficult to hear from the studio.
Okay.
So,
we will get the technicians to fix it.
Yes, hello.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you better now.
All right. Go ahead, please. Speak.
All right. So, Johnny, if the river is what has to be treated for us to have, drinking potable water in our homes, why do the state, or let me say government, sit down kind of unconcerned about people who are illegally mining in these same waters, and they end up coming to, sit on radio and on television to tell us to see something and say something. I still don't get it. Also, when you look at this wager encroachment, when they are digging a foundation, authorities are looking unconcerned, and when they get to roof level, then you come and tell us that they are wrongly putting up a building. Sometimes I don't see the wisdom in the minds of our leaders, because it looks like the same thing every day. They are not operating in space, but we can see them. They are in Ghana, they are in Accra, they are in other regions, and we see all the wrongdoing.
Okay.
It looks like let them do it, and we'll take taxpayers' money to go and stop this.
Great.
This is wisdom.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Good morning. We lost this one. 0208-227-290 and 0592-928-795. 0208-227-290 and 0592-928-795. A happy birthday to Inspector Joseph Okonate of the Ghana Police Service. It's your birthday today. Happy birthday. Good morning. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
Yes, sir. What's your name and location, please?
Yeah, this is Clifford from Adenta.
Okay, quickly. You have just 30 seconds. Yeah, let's go. Hello, Clifford.
Hello?
Sorry about that. Good morning.
I don't actually know what is happening. If there is a problem that they cannot solve within a short possible period of time, why can't they come up with load shedding so that we know the specific days that the light is going to go up? Then we also prepare and make arrangements for that. 3 days today, I was doing, lamination for a very important document, and because the light went off, everything got spoiled. So I want to use your august medium to appeal to UCG, especially Stacey Brown. One of the annoying and exasperating part of it is that whenever the light went off and you call them, they don't pick the call. It's only the national office that have been picking the call. So if there is a problem, they should let us know. They should give them the information so that we prepare for it. We can't. Now, the maximum you can use the light in certain part of station is 4 hours.
We will ask them this question
so
for you.
I just want to use your august medium to appeal to you to actually pay attention to us.
Okay.
If there is a problem, they should let us know, come out with a timetable so that we know today we are going to use it for 2 hours or 3 hours.
Okay.
It's becoming unbecoming.
Great. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Final caller, Ewenam. You have 30 seconds. Let's hear you. Ewenam. Unfortunately, we don't have. We have to go. Helen, do you drink directly from the pipe?
I haven't done that since I was a young girl. After the age of like 10
the
or
way
so.
Asideba is looking at you.
But I have a water filter. So from the tap into the water filter takes some hours.
Stanley Mate drinks from the pipe. You have no faith in.
He's a brave man.
Have you been drinking from your tap as well?
Not, I mean, when I was young, growing up as a kid.
Yeah, I used to.
Yeah. As a
young people when they were young
growing up.
Oh wow.
Relax for me, please.
I'm not a spring chicken.
Is they young for me?
No. You know that saying, "Menyi me hu nefel."
You know, back in the day,
is they young for me?
Back in the day in basic school, you go to the pipe with drinking directly from the pipe with,
You cup your hands like that.
And then you say, after you. Isn't it a great show? See you tomorrow. This is the Sunrise Morning Show. It's been the Sunrise Morning Show, the Water Day edition. You may decide to drink directly from the pipe. But Edem is in the news. One time he's an NDC candidate or hopeful. Next day he's an MPP.
The man didn't speak.
An MPP.